What's going on, everybody? Before we get into it, I want to know real quick, um, what's blocking you from your gift? It's usually not something that you can necessarily name right away. Sometimes you have to sit with it for a little while before it makes itself obvious and plain. And so that's what today is about. In case it's your first time being here, my name is Jori. Welcome to Talk Your Book, day 5 of the Unleash pre-launch. Today's going to be a little shorter than yesterday, but probably much more impactful for some of you. So let me paint the backstory. So one morning, about 4 a.m., uh, I woke up and the first thing that hit me was the sentence. And I don't know where the sentence came from, but it popped in my head. And when it did, I just started crying. And that sentence was that you felt rejected as a little kid. I wasn't in the middle of therapy. I hadn't been doing any like inner child work of any sort for me to come up to this conclusion of this sentence at this time. But just like that, full sentence, not a feeling, not a diagnosis, just you felt rejected as a little kid. And it came before I even had my first cup of coffee. So I had a choice in that moment. The same choice that any of you have anytime you feel discomfort or anytime something comes up for you that shows up uninvited, right? I could get curious, I could get closed off. I had an earlier conversation in the year with, I guess, a new friend, and her direct instructions were when things come up over the next couple of months, I need you to get curious. I need you to lean in. Don't shut down. Don't close off. Get curious. And so her words were ringing in my head when the sentence appeared. And so I got curious. I grabbed my Bible, grabbed a journal, and I followed the thread. And I asked myself, okay, when, where did I feel rejected? Right? What was the first thought that came up when I felt that? Um, because again, it just started with the thought. And now we have to go find the feeling. And the feeling that came up, and it's I've shared this I think in private, never right publicly like this. What came up was I'm unlovable. Right? Something's wrong. I mentioned this. I snuck this into my TED talk that I did last year about the feelings that I had about where I was at when I started going to therapy, and then even some of the things that I was hearing other people share, the neurodivergent creatives who were sharing with me some of their experiences that led them to kind of seeking this very interesting relationship with AI. If you want to hear more about that, you can go check out that video. I'll put the link in the show notes below. But those two sentences, I'm unlovable and something's wrong with me, those two sentences became the premise underneath everything that I had done up to that point. And I didn't even know it, right? Even everything that I didn't do, every job that I quit, every relationship that I ended before it could end me, every business that I started and I quietly let it go. The verdict was I'm unlovable, and everything I built afterwards was like a courtroom argument, trying to prove it wrong or a hiding place to keep it hidden. It's those two options. And what God showed me that morning was that the rejection at that time for me as a child, the first strand that I found because I got curious and started digging, that oftentimes it was protection. And I know we've heard this phrase, rejection is God's protection, but I found that to be true. It kept me from following paths and people that would have led me somewhere that I was never meant to go. And the thing wasn't happening to me, was happening for me to become the person that I am, for me to experience the things that I did, for me to be able to relate and have empathy towards the folks that I currently write books for, right? Same event, different frame. And so I want to gift you that. If you are having a difficult time reconciling the things that have happened in your past, maybe take back power, take back ownership. It didn't happen to you, it happened for you to learn. And that learning on the other side of that, that's what we're looking for. So Um, so I go back to 4 a.m. I sat there under dark and I talked. I talked to 5-year-old Jori, uh, the one who first decided that she wasn't worthy. This wasn't a grown up decision. This has happened a long time ago. And I thought about like who first told me that I was unlovable, right? And then once, even if they didn't say it out loud verbally, um, what did they do that made me believe that? And then who first quietly agreed that something must be wrong, right? And it was me. I told myself that. I made that agreement. No one else. And I followed the thread and I looked. And so every other time where I felt unlovable or I felt unworthy, I would just look for proof. And guess what? I found it every single time. I found exactly what I was looking for, right? And so here is what I realized after going through that process and finding the thread and the origin story. This is what I told my 5-year-old self. Nothing is wrong with you. You are lovable. You are worthy of love. You are good enough. And I think for a lot of our choices in life have come because no one told our 5-year-old or our 6-year-old or our 7-year-old selves those 4 affirmations that nothing is wrong with you. You are lovable, you are worthy of love, and you are good enough. And when I did I did the only thing that, like strong enough to hold all of it. Right? And this is probably one of my favorite scriptures in all the Bible, Matthew 11:28. Says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your soul." This is the King James Version. But the last line translated is, "Trade your heavy yoke for my life." This is Jesus talking to his disciples. Trade your heavy yoke from my life. And so I took the light yoke of Jesus and I handed him my heavy yoke. Now, mind you, I've been a Christian for quite some time, been a square EM encounter. And I have been dragging around this rejection since 5 years old, so for 30 plus years. Rejection, the unworthiness, the sense that something was wrong with me. Try that. Not a metaphor, like actually go find a 5-year version of yourself in a photo, in a memory, in a scene that you can play in your mind clearly, and tell that version of you that the things that nobody told them. That I'm working with a client right now, and she's amazing. The ministry is powerful, and she's in the process of writing her ebook to to help heal a lot of young girls who are this space right here. They don't feel worthy, and so they've allowed themselves to be put in very precarious situations and allow themselves to be used and abused and treated very poorly. And this process is something that even she had to go through in order to lead others through it. And this is also the thing that I'm learning. Like this entire book, my entire Unleashed series are my experiences that I had to go through in order for me to lead other people through. And so one of the group of people that I led through these experiences that I'm sharing now is the women that I sat in that circle with during my 5-day challenge. And we started naming what was blocking them. One of them sat with a quiet heart uh, and, 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 and the whole room recognized like she was having this tension, right? And we'll call her, try to remain anonymous, we'll call her Leah, right? The seeker. And at first I wrote down that she this is what she said. She said she first wrote down that she won't achieve what she set out to do, and that's the fear of the failure. But as she listened to the other women in the group, it went deeper. She said, maybe I don't feel that I'm worthy of it. Like I'm not supposed to have it. You know how they say you made your bed, lie in it? Like this is where I am because of the choices I made in my past. So maybe I'm not worthy of it. And it's a lot of noise in my head all the time. So Leah wasn't lazy. She wasn't unequipped. She was just carrying the verdict that she handed herself years ago. And that was drowning out the call, the gift, the recognition of what she had been placed to do. And if that's you, if underneath the practical stuff there's a voice that says, not you, not somebody with your history, not you need to hear what I finally heard. You are worth more than you know. You are not your title. You are not your gift. You are not just your experience. You are not just your situation. You alone, right? Without a single accolade, without one more accomplishment, without one more launch, one more milestone, one more five-star review, you are worth so much more than you know. I need you to hear that. I need you to receive that. And so one of the practices that I have every day, and I did it this morning, mantras and affirmations, call it what you want to, but here's a practical thing that I used to stay standing on, right? But when I feel, I have a lot of feelings, and I feel all the things, standing in the truth. On the days when I don't feel like showing up, even today, on the day where I just want to stay in bed, covers over my head, and pretend that the day never happened, right? I still have those days. Here's the practice that I use to stay grounded in the truth. I take every thought captive and I make it obedient to God, even the small ones, the ones that make me feel small, especially those. I take them captive and I replace them with truth. And I speak affirmations over myself out loud on repeat. Right? There's one that I used to say, and I've quoted this before. I've even quoted on this podcast. Um, I am a fire starter for Jesus, igniting flames in the hearts of former Christians to blow embers on dry bones to bring them back to life. I am the example of a godly life. I make Christian business from remnant. I speak prophetic goals, not past tense. I gain Jesus business and common sense. I use the word of God as my offense and my defense, and very often I work for God's not my offense. Um, Everybody told you I rap yesterday, right? Of course it's gonna rap. You gotta remember it. But that's one of the affirmations that I spoke over my life. And when I look at what I have been positioned to do now, helping small businesses get more visibility, helping authors create businesses from their books, helping other married couples learn how to communicate better, leading a small group in my church, like encouraging people who maybe feel far from God to draw near to Him. Like this is this is the affirmation. This is confirmation now, 4 years later of what I spoke of in my life, 2022. Now it's coming to fruition. And so if you like, I don't know, which affirmations to start with, I don't know. Here we go. I got you. Because I'm practical girl, so I gotta use practical advice. Here they are. You can write them down. You can repeat them later. Say them with me if you want. I am worthy of success, even when I don't feel like it. I love and accept myself no matter what. I'm strong enough to handle setbacks. Show myself grace when I fall back into destructive patterns. And I have to keep telling myself these things to put one foot in front of another because if I don't, I'm dead in my tracks. I am not immune to procrastination. I am not immune to failure. I'm not immune to self sabotage. I'm not immune to self pity. I know myself well enough to know that. And so, if nothing else from this video, nothing else from today, I want you, one take, the verdict that you handed yourself at 5 years old is quietly running your life at 40. Maybe you're 40, maybe you're 25, maybe you're 30, maybe you're 60. But the verdict that you handed yourself as a small child is quietly running your life now. You got to go back and find it. Go back and find that little person. Go find him. Go find her. And tell that kid nobody told them. They are loved, they are worthy, but they are good enough, and that they deserve love. All right, listen, if today opened up something for you, simply surface while I was telling my story that you recognize as one that you've been telling yourself, I invite you. And I know people are like, what? Why do you keep talking about talk your book, master class, all this touchy feely stuff inside? Honestly, because a lot of us have stuffed our feelings, we stuffed our emotions so far down that it takes something outside of ourselves to pull it out. And so, talk to your book masterclass. Yes, maybe you're not looking to write a book, but maybe just looking to tell your story better in an interview, on your website, right? On a podcast. It's part of your job. That's what Talk Your Book Masterclass is about. It's about getting to the heart of your story, putting it in a way for it to be shared with other people in whatever form or fashion or asset that you wanted to. And so it's happening today, this evening, Tuesday, August 11th. It's where we sit down with the sentence and find out where it came from, right? It's $47. The link is in the description. I run it twice a month. Next one is tonight. And so I invite you to come and inquire, investigate, and look into your own story. All right. In the next video that I'm going to share with you, we're going to go back to the book. It's going to be short though. I want to share with you three specific roadblocks that are probably quietly killing more gifts than anything else. Just three. I want to name them, get playing with them, and then give you some practicals on how to get over them. Right? And so I want to do that probably toward the end of the week so that you can go into the weekend exactly know. I want you to know specifically which of these roadblocks has been running. Okay? So today, sit with the verdict. Write down. If you can name it, go back and talk to your 5-year-old self. And if you can't yet name it, ask God to bring it to the surface the way that He did. Maybe not at 4 or 5 in the morning, but ask Him. He is a God that desires to exchange your heavy yoke for His light. He is not afraid of the answer, and so you should be. Hit the bell, subscribe, share this with a friend who maybe has been carrying the sentence that they never chose. And I will see you back here later this week between 10 and 11 a.m. Peace.